last week in March. This month has flown by, and today we're going to end up with our Bible Buddy adoptions. So today, after Sunday school, your kids can go down to the infant nursery, the little counter by the infant nursery, and they can pick out a Bible buddy to adopt, and that's going to be so fun for them. And then the goal is that they're reading their Bible, or their parents are reading their Bible to them with their buddy, and they establish a habit of reading the Bible themselves with their parents. So don't forget to mention that to your kids, that they can get their Bible buddies after class today. You're going to start off your class with a hidden objects thing, and I forgot to bring my tubs of rice and beans and corn home from church, but you'll have a tub and there'll be objects that you can hide in the tub. So you can find more objects around your classroom if you want, but I'll have some ready for you that you can hide in the tub, and then the kids get to feel in the rice and try to pick out the objects that be hidden. So it might be like a big paper clip, or it might be a toy, or a little figurine of an animal or something like that, and those are going to be hidden in the tub. And then when you're done, you can talk about all the different things they found and how God is in charge of everything. And so that's our theme for today, and we're actually going to use the word sovereign, because I think that little kids, sometimes they like to say big words, and even though it might be hard for them, if you repeat it over and over, the kids should be able to get it. So I'd like to use the word sovereign, but really we'll explain that just means God is in charge. And I'll have to tell you, of everything that I've learned in my spiritual walk, I think the message that God is in charge is one of the things that I come back to over and over and over. When I'm worried about something, I come back to, you know what, God is in charge. When I think something isn't fair, or things aren't working out the way I want them to, I have to come back to, you know what, God is in charge. I am not in charge. God is in charge. God always wants the best for me, and God is in charge. And so I think that even though it's a big concept, it's so freeing to just take that responsibility off your shoulders and give it to God where it really belongs. And we can help even the preschoolers start learning that. Our kids today are so overwhelmed with anxiety and fears, and they just have so much information that we just didn't know anything about when we were their age. And they need to know that, you know what, there is a war going on in Ukraine, but God is in charge. And prices are going up, and we don't know what's going to happen, but God is in charge. We don't have to worry that things are out of control, because they are not out of control in God's eyes. He is in charge. So those are big things that you can talk about with your kids. And to break that down, we're going to talk about just a few categories. God is in charge of the animals. There's some instances in the Bible where God made the big fish swallow Jonah, or there was another one I was going to mention, but how God was in charge of the animals. And then we're going to learn about how God is in charge of the weather. Tons of stories how God calmed the storm, or he made things hot when Jonah was on the beach and he withered up all of the flowers and the plants and the shade tree. And God is in control of the weather. And then God is in control of people. Ultimately, God is in control. And yes, sin comes into the world, and people do things that go against God's plan. We have free will, and we can do that. But overall, God is in charge of what happens with people. So God is in charge of everything. All right, after your Bible story, the kids are going to get this world puzzle, and all of the shapes are going to be blank, and they're going to get to glue the little things that God is in charge of into the shapes, and then they can color their shapes once they're glued on. So I think this will be super age appropriate for them. They'll have a fun time matching the shapes, putting the pieces on there and coloring. And then, of course, it has the message that God is in charge of everything. You can talk about how he's in charge of the fish, and he's in charge of the plants and the animals and the weather and people and the seasons, or even stuff that's going on in outer space. God is in charge of all of those things. Okay? And then our last activity is going to just be a memory game. So you have these little cards, and I actually put 4 of each card in there to make it easier for the kids. You could split it up into just 2, but you put them upside down, and then the kids turn over a card, and if the 2 match, they get to keep the cards, and if they don't match, they don't. You can make this easier by turning over 1 card, and then the kids just turn up 1 and see if they can match that card, or you can leave part of the cards turned up, and then they're just trying to match the cards that are in the matching game. So depending on their age, you can play that a couple of different ways. I have a couple of sets in there for that kindergarten class that's getting a little bigger. So yay, we've been having about 10 kids each week, which is so great. And then, of course, our memory verse. Last week for this memory verse is 1 John 4:7. Love one another, for love comes from God. 1 John 4:7. I hope you've enjoyed teaching this month. And again, if you have any suggestions, I'm so open to suggestions. You guys are the ones that are in the classroom. You're working with the kids and you're figuring out what's working and what's not working. Let me know if Puppets is working, or if the worship songs we're doing are working well for you, or if there's anything that you need that we can make better for your experience and for the experience of the kids, because our goal is that these kids every week are learning as much as they can about Jesus in the short time they're with us. Thank you so much for serving. I'm praying for you, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. We will have Preschool Puppets back this week, so Preschool Puppets will be at, I forgot the times, but at the end of the first service, and then at the 10 minutes into the hour after at the second service. So 10:10, and I can't remember the 8 o'clock service, but you guys know. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.